YouTube for almost 7 years now, and my camera gear has evolved a ton along the way. I remember starting off just shooting on my iPhone 4S when I was traveling through South America, and I remember thinking like that was exciting. Since then I've added on so much gear that I actually do use all the time when I'm traveling on the roads. In this video I wanted to show you an update of what gear I use when traveling. It's been a lot of trial and error, but these are the basics that I think would help anybody to get the shot that they're looking for while on the road. Let's get started.
Hey travelers, my name is Juliana and that's my husband Martine. We've been traveling around the world for 4 years and fitting it into our lives any way possible, whether that be volunteering in hostels, working on cruise ships, taking short weekend adventures, or living as expats working remotely. Our goal is to show you how to have unique and memorable trips no matter what your circumstances.
Before we get started, I wanted to mention that in all of my videos I leave the products that I use in the description, and you can check there to find links to these products on Amazon. I wanted to note that I do get a percentage of the sale when you do use these links, which does help to support my channel. No pressure at all to use these. I don't care if you don't use them, but it's there if you'd like to. First, I wanted to talk about the camera that I fell in love with a few years ago, the Sony A7s II. I have been using this camera for 2 years, ever since I entered that Canon CEO competition a few years ago. That's when I invested in this camera. I love it. It is a full-frame mirrorless camera that is the best one on the market for videos, in my opinion. There are so many different features on it that I haven't even begun to dive into. I love that it can shoot in 4K, I can do some really great slow motion with this, and the frame itself is relatively light. Now where I went wrong was I actually got this lens in here. This is my camera backpack, by the way. This lens, which I love so much, but it is very heavy. It is the Sony 24-240 lens, and I remember when I showed the kinetic Canons this, I was like, so this is my lens. They're like, holy toly, that is huge. How do you travel with this? It is so heavy, but I love the shots it gives me. The only issue though is it only goes to 24 millimeters, and that sometimes is a little too zoomed in, especially when it's cropped when I'm shooting in slow motion. So it was really hard to combine this with the, mirrorless camera, hold it up with one hand. It's like you're halfway weighed down. So actually this lens might get retired. Although I did travel with it for 2 years, I made it work. It's just a little too heavy for me now, but it gets really, really great shots. I love how the light comes through in this. Currently what you're watching this on though is a Sigma 16mm 1.4 f-stop lens, and it is a wide angle lens. I chose to switch over to this for a couple different reasons. One, I chose Sigma because the Sony wide angle lenses were so expensive, there's no way I could have afforded it. Sigma was recommended to me by a couple of friends on YouTube, and it works really well. I love the wide angle of it. I can actually use my Sony A7s camera in one hand now and film with both Martine and I in the shot, which I could have never done with the lens because it was too heavy and also too close up. And it seems to work really well, especially at like sunset, golden hour. The only issue I'm finding with this is I do shoot in S-Log2, but I'm having a hard time with exposure with this lens. Sometimes I'll think it looks okay, I'm using like the zebra effect to figure out where the light is, and then I'll look back and the back is totally blown out. So I'm still trying to figure it out. Another thing I don't like about this lens is that when I shoot in 4K, I have to zoom in a little bit because there's a black circle on the side, so that's kind of annoying, but I'm getting used to it, and overall I think the benefits of it, like with the weight and the wide angle, outweigh the negatives, so I'm going to be trying it. I did use it for the first time in my Puerto Vallarta update video I posted in October, and I did like how a lot of the shots looked. There were some that were like totally blown out, so I'm still like figuring out the logistics. So that is the main bulk of what I use. Like that's, in all simplicity, if I could only leave the house with one thing, it would be this new wide angle lens and then my Sony A7s II. But there's a couple of other accessories I use along the way. One being this camera bag I briefly showed you. Is a Case Logic camera bag. I got it back in like 2014 or something. Stores all my camera gear, lots of pockets that you can move around as you please. Ooh, let's talk about this. This is my microphone, which just realized I wasn't using. Whoops. Clearly I haven't set up a filming setup in a long time, but this is my Sennheiser mic. I'll link the exact one down below. I can't remember the exact model, but I really like it. It comes with this little fluffy guy up on top. Yeah, you just turn it on and off. It uses a AAA battery, which actually the life of it lasts a long time, but if you forget to turn it off, it will die. And I guess that's what just happened. I literally put a battery in this like last week. So perfect example of why sometimes this one's a complicated one. Works really well, just clicks right into my camera and sticks up on the top. So this is my microphone I use. I've thought about switching over to a lapel mic, but like I'm not really interested in setting that up because I'm looking for a setup that's like easy, manageable. You guys know. This is my secondary camera. This is my Canon G7x2. I got this when I was working on the cruise ship because I wanted a smaller camera for when I went out in port. This is what I use when I'm feeling like a little bit camera shy, a little bit like I don't want people to think I'm a YouTuber, so I'm just gonna have my small little camera and just be like, you know? You guys know what I mean? Anybody ever felt that way? Like some days you're just super self-conscious about making videos. Anyway, this is what I use on those days. And it's alright. It's the first version of this camera. They've since come out with a couple other versions. My mom has the Mark II, which I like a lot more. But what's cool is that the screen flips up. It's like a classic vlogging camera. But I have issues sometimes with it getting colors really weird. Sometimes things turn out really orange or like really saturated. But one interesting thing is like, whenever I take pictures on here or like videos, I'll look them back like, oh, this looks super grainy and awful, and then I'll put it on my computer and be like, oh, actually, this did a great job. I need to use this more often. Anyway, I'm still like, I really don't use this that much. It's just like if I can only travel with like a day bag, maybe I wouldn't want to bring my big camera also to an unsafe neighborhood. So then I'll take this because I don't care if somebody takes this. This thing is not my favorite thing in the world, but it's a good one for like beginner YouTubers. This was like, I had this before I had this camera you guys are watching on now. And you can't change out the lens or anything, but it works. One thing that I traveled with a lot when I was doing solo travel before Mr. Martin came into my life is this Gorillapod. Gorillapods are great for solo travelers because you can just put your camera on here, you can loop this around any sort of pole, anything you want, and you can level it out here and get some great self-timer shots with this when you're traveling. It's small, compact, and it actually fits on the side of my camera bag. So this is a good tripod to use. I was able to get by with this probably most of my YouTube life. Then, I'm not going to show her in this video, but I had the Dji Ronin S. It was a stabilizer. It was beautiful. I filmed my Tasco video with it. I filmed some other ones that I loved, like Tepoztlan, some ones in Mexico. I went through like this phase where I was using it all the time. When I look back, I was like, holy Toledo, I love that footage. It's so smooth. The stabilizer, it will make things just like butter, and you can do some really cool effects with it. I think that having a stabilizer in your gear, whatever it is, whatever type of stabilizer it is, it's gonna take your videos to the next level. I loved it, but it was so heavy. So heavy. When I had my 24-240 lens on my Sony A7s II with this DJI stabilizer, the thing weighed about 11 pounds. So imagine traveling with that. Imagine walking around all day with that, and especially trying to hold like one arm. It was impossible. So I stopped using it, and as a result, some of my videos over the past year haven't been the quality I wanted because I wasn't using anything. Well, then I found out about a stabilizer. Thanks to my friends, the Canons. I also noticed, I think Cara and Nate use this exact same stabilizer. Let me go grab it.
Real quick before we continue this video, I want to let you guys know that the Tourist to Local merch store is now live. Shop these designs in a variety of options, from t-shirts to sweatshirts, even mugs, stickers, and tote bags. Click the link in my description to see all our colors and sizes, and send me your photos rocking the merch to @TouristToLocal on Instagram. Okay, back to our video.
Here she is. It's the Dji Ronin something. This is made by Dji Ronin, and it is a lot cheaper than the Dji Ronin S. Still have the instructions in here. But I used this during my Puerto Vallarta video, and You put the batteries in here and they're rechargeable. The battery life is actually pretty good. I was able to get through a whole day of filming with this. Turning it on and off, of course. You put your camera like on here like this, turn it on, you have to level it, which actually doesn't take as long as my Dji Ronin S. And it has like little things you can like, you know, control it to go left, right, up, down. You can have it, there's like a mode where you can click it 3 times and it'll swivel back and look at you, and then swivel it back and look at whatever you're looking at. And it keeps everything really level when it's on. And you can buy it without this attachment. I bought this separately because I realized, although I can set it down when I'm at a restaurant or something, it's better to have it on this little tripod so you can just stand it up, so you don't have to take your camera on and off all the time. But I'll put the exact model I got. I was kind of confused because Jiyun has a bunch of different ones on Amazon. It's really hard to tell what the difference is, but this is the one that I think the most people use, and it's really, really nice. And best of all, it's so much lighter. So now this, with my new lens, I'm actually able to hold this out and vlog myself while I'm talking, so it's great. That will definitely be in use a lot more as I travel, and I love that you can break it down so that it's smaller. The other one that I had, it's just too bulky. I couldn't like fit it in any bags, and every time I went through security, people were like asking me a ton of questions. So she's being put for sale on, I don't know where yet, Amazon or eBay or something, and I'm gonna just keep this one. Even though it's a little bit of a downgrade when you think in terms of like probably the quality and features, in my opinion, it has everything I need it to have, so it is perfect for me. Let's see what else I got in here. I think that's it, guys. Of course, extra batteries and such. I mean, for, if you guys are curious, for my video editing setup, I use a, probably it's like 2015, no, it must be like 2015 MacBook Pro that is dying. Whenever I can finally move to the US, first thing I want to do is buy a pimped out iMac desktop. Pimp it out with like the largest RAM possible, and that will be my new editing setup. But for now, I just use a super old MacBook Pro. I use Final Cut Pro X, which I adore, I love. I taught it to my mom, I taught it to Martine. It's a great option. And yeah, that's all I have to say, guys. If you're interested in seeing how I edit my videos, how I edit my photos, or if you want to like see a video on what camera settings I use for the Sony A7s II, I'm happy to do it. Just let me know. Make sure you guys follow me over on Instagram as well. It's where I talk to you guys the most. I love you guys over there. You guys are so much fun. And also, what else do I want you to do? Subscribe. That means the world to me. It's free for you. I'm trying to hit 100,000 subscribers. And then when you're done with that, have a great day. That's all. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. So long, travel well, and make the world your neighborhood. See you guys next time. Bye.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. Did you know we have a Patreon? All our members get access to monthly income reports, exclusive podcasts, access to our private Facebook group, and even a copy of my ebook, Puerto Vallarta Like a Local. Business and first-class patrons also get a postcard from us each month. Thanks so much for the support. Click the Patreon logo on the screen to join our family.